Alright guys, this tutorial I'm going to lead you guys through this file. But instead of just programming and learning about core concepts, today we're actually going to program something that is useful. Now to start with, why don't I just run you guys through this program? It's pretty short anyway. And if I enter 4 here, there we go. So what you just saw is essentially what the entire program is going to do. You enter a number, the program sees that number, and give you a result from this specific file. Okay, and this one leads on from the last tutorial. Since we have built the structure last tutorial, we can just keep on going with the structure because we just need to fill in the gap that we haven't entered. Right. Without further ado, let's read through this line by line because this is a bit too long for me to memorize, but I get how it works. I can't, re-enter it by my memory, but you know what? It's good enough to know how it works. So the first line is include IOStream. You need to include this pretty much in any file. I forgot what it does, but it's pretty important. Second line, include fstream. That is simply for opening and closing files. So anytime you want to access a file from your folder, remember to include fstream. Third, using namespace std, and that's to print stuff out on the screen. Okay, now you're gonna see a lot of these gray messages throughout this program. And these gray messages are basically comment in C++. They are tools for the programmer to see and know what the next code is about. So programmers will usually, before they start a section of code that is specific for a function, they would enter, what the code is for. So in this case, this part of code is for, this part of code is for prototype. And this is our main. What is prototype? Well, prototype is, so you know how we create functions. For example, that's a function. Get what they want is a function. Display items is a function. But we have created our function below our main. But as we will know, the computer runs from top to bottom. Since main is on the top, the computer will go down the list and run main first. But then, since we have a function right here in our main that we haven't created at this point, we need to go back up before main and prototype it. That's basically copy and paste the header of the function, that is the name, the type, and if it has a bracket, that's the header. Same thing with this. This is just a different type of file that is called void file. Function, and it has parameter of integer. Okay. Now let's go down to the main, and the first thing we see is an integer called what they want. We have made this last lesson, and what they want, the integer is equal to a function. That's pretty confusing, but we remember that in our last tutorial, I told you guys since this function returns a value, um, this return value is going to be equal to what they want. If this returns 2, what they want will be 2. Okay, keep reading. While what they want is not equal to 4, switch what they want. Um, we have used a while loop here. So everything inside the loop is going to happen while this number is not equal to 4. And if we scroll down or up or down, hold on a second, or up, I don't know. Integer get what they want. Yeah, yeah. Okay, what was I saying? What they want. So this number is going to be entered by the user since we see that down here in our get what they want function. The user is going to enter the choice and the function is going to return the choice and store this number in what they want. So if the user enters 2 for the choice, that number is going to get stored in what they want, the integer. And while what they want is not equal to 4, which is the case in the case of 2, this is going to happen. So switch what they want. Case 1, display items. Break. Case 2, display items. Break. Case 3, display items. Break. And I'll be coming back to this later because what this does is basically displaying the item that we don't know what it is at this part because we haven't programmed it. But basically, if the user enters 1, the system will run this line pretty much. The system will go run display items and show the results in response to when the user enters 1. And this response is going to be different for every number. Why is that 2? That's going to be 2. Yeah, there we go. Display times 2. Yeah, okay. So integer get what they want into choice. Now we're down to the function in our one of 2 functions in our program. Get what they want simply shows the user all the choices he can choose and let him make a choice. And the program stores his choice, which is a number, into what they want, the integer. Okay, now down to this void function that we haven't seen before, display items. We have seen that somewhere up there, and we saw it like this inside cases, right? And after each display items, we have brackets and different numbers inside. And we can see down here what each different number leads to. So the display items function will take parameter of an integer. So we are expecting an integer here. We are expecting an entrance of number, an integer. Okay. Right. ifstream object file. Well, when we are using ifstream, that means we are importing, exporting and importing. And when we are importing, we are always importing something to the program. So when we are importing something from the program, it means reading a file and copying the message of the file into the black box in here. So like we have learned yesterday. And after the ifstream, we use an object, and I have named this object file. And using this object, we can open a text file just by entering brackets after the object file. This is the quicker way. Of course, you can use the other way, but that's long and takes 2 lines. Okay. Next, we see two variable types: string, a name, and double power. We read on to see if x is equal to 1. What happens next is while object file, that means import. So import, okay. We're using the object file to import the name and the power. So what this means is, well, if x is equal to 1, the object is going to import everything inside our text file. So everything. Doesn't matter, what numbers they are, related to. So no matter the result, no matter what properties they have, we're going to import everything from that file, and then we're going to choose the selected ones that the user has chosen. Okay, now if the power is larger than 0, if you don't know what this means, I should show you the text file right now, and you probably understand. There we go. So notice how we have a name, Rob, Jenny, and Hawk. What a weird name. So Rob will be our string type variable, and the number after Rob will be the double type variable. Double simply means a number with decimal point. And when we are importing stuff, we're importing the name and the power. And the first step is we import everything, and then we filter the ones we want. So when the user enters 1, we are only returning the people that has larger than 0 number. So that will be only Rob. So for this result, for x equals 1, we will be returning Rob because his power is 16, and the computer will print that out on the screen. But then when we go down to the here, we'll be doing the same thing. First line, we pretty much import everything in that file. No matter they're good or bad, they're positive or equal to 0 or below 0, we're importing everything. And while this is happening, if the power of that person is below 0, as we saw Jenny was, I think she was negative 15, we'll be returning her name and her power. But when x is equal to 3, so when the user enters that number that is equal to 3, the object will be using the object to return the name and the power of the person that has a power equal to 0. Okay, so that's how we can filter people and return the desired results for certain entrances. And another point that I really want to stress on is how the heck did we get x equal to the number that the user has entered? Well, we go up to display items. What they want, get to what they want in choice. So choice, return choice. Why don't we just follow this? Return choice. Okay, so we read return choice. What is this going to be returned to? Now what function is this coming from? Get what they want. Okay, now we know if we return 3 in this case, which is a mediocre item, we'll be returning 3 to what they want. And where do we see what they want in the main file? Well, here. And when we have this, that's when we're using the display items function and also the loop. So while this number is not equal to 4, we're using the switch case and break thing, which I've forgotten what they do because I need to revise on that. We pretty much use this, and we go down to the display items. So this is already expecting to a entrance of number. If x is equal to 1, it's going to return the good items. If x is equal to 2, it's going to return the bad items. If x is equal to 3, in this case, it is equal to 3. We're going to expect a mediocre item. And when it's equal to 4, this loop isn't valid anymore. So we're going to have a bad item. Now, using the really bad example of, good and bad items, we're going to return some people's names and their power. I don't know why I use people for this. But if we enter 3, which is mediocre, we have Hawk, who's not really, smart or strong and doesn't do anything. He has 0 power, but he doesn't do anything bad. And when we choose bad item, we get Jenny. Sorry, Jenny, but you do nothing. You do more than nothing. You just don't help and cause troubles. And she has a power of -15. But when you go to Rob, when you enter 1, you get Rob, who has 16 power and does all the good stuff. Joking, the name word enter randomly, so just chose a good number for myself and chose these randomly. And then when we want to put the program, we just put the program, enters 4. So that's using the past knowledge to manage to code a file, to code a program that actually does something, and it's pretty fun. Okay, so that's everything. We have covered more than one topic in this tutorial, and I do not have the time and mind to name them all. But enjoy your day, enjoy programming.